Hello, guys, and welcome back to Elysian. The Great How was the weekend? I'm sure it was good. Trusting you're keeping safe and hoping that you know that these too shall pass. That's what the best we can say about the coronavirus. That these too shall pass. So today we are going to be talking about some very interesting fact that I just discovered. I hope you find it as phenomenal as I actually found it, and I hope it enriches your life as it has just enriched mine. So there are three things I want you to think about. I want you to think about the Earth its somehow spherical shape, the human head, which is somehow spherical. They say the head is round, and the womb of a pregnant woman. Those three things, the Earth, the head, and the womb. That's what you're going to be talking about. Interesting fact that your head is made of some matter, some softish matter. Okay, the scientific name, we're not being scientific today. And the earth is made of mainly 70% water and 30% land. That's the continents. Interesting also, the womb also contains some water in it, a lot of water. So, the secret of the womb. What is the secret of the womb? The secret of the womb is the fact that a cell, a sperm meets an ovum. They fertilize and then they're supposed to spend a duration of 9 months, which is medically 42 weeks in this first spherical space. Think about it. When you think about how the womb of a pregnant woman looks like, somehow it looks like the shape of your head or the shape of the earth. As in, okay, not exactly, but they kind of the shape similar. So what you think, what the secret of the womb is that this egg that has now been fertilized has now become a zygote, will become an embryo, will become a fetus, and after the 42 weeks, it's supposed to leave the womb and become a baby. So it will leave the first earth, it will have to conquer the first earth, which is the womb, and now come into the next earth, which is the earth that we are living in, and it has to also conquer that and find its place. So this is what I'm wondering. How do we conquer this earth? In the womb, when a baby is growing, the most prominent feature is usually its head, and the head has the brain, and it's the brain that gives the growing baby instructions on how to grow. When you go for your first scan, like when at 7 weeks, 8 weeks, you just see something that looks like a tadpole, a head and just nothing. There are no limbs, there's nothing because it's developing. But the head, that shape of the head is there. So it's the head that gives instructions to the body, the baby, and then the baby develops the limbs, it develops the organs, and after 9 months, the baby leaves the first earth. The first earth of each of us is the womb. And because you can listen and understand this video of mine, you can understand what I'm saying. It means that you already conquered the womb, and now you're in this earth. You've grown cognitively, you've grown physically, you've grown emotionally, you've grown to understand. That's why you can listen and understand and comprehend what I'm saying. So what's the difference between the first earth? The first earth, which is now we're talking about three things. The first earth is the womb. The second earth is the world we're living in. The womb also has water, just like our earth has water. So the first earth, the baby knows. The brain knows and tells and makes the brain knows and alerts the whole body and the baby basically that after 42 weeks you're supposed to have particular features to survive in the other earth. And after that, what happens? The first thing that happens is that water breaks. When the water breaks, we all know that the baby is coming. So this is what happens. The water is responsible for keeping the baby safe in the womb because it's a shock absorber, all that, yeah. The amniotic fluid is what now we're calling the water. So it keeps the baby safe, it takes out the toxins, it's a place where the baby can just surrender to the water and just float. You say babies can swim, they swim for 9 months in the womb. And when they are born, we forget there's some of us who are putting water today, they cannot swim. But what am I talking about? I'm saying for those 9 months, the brain is what is most responsible for everything that happens to the baby. It keeps the baby in a place which is dark and it's in water, but it keeps the baby focused. The baby knows that I have to grow these particular organs that will help me survive in the other earth. To this earth, what happens? We still have our brain, and as babies, we are very, very focused with our brains, because you find that a baby, when he is hungry, he will cry. He will say, I'm hungry. When he has pooped and needs a diaper change, he will cry and say, I need a diaper change. When he is grumpy and sleepy, he will sleep. A baby sleeps for most of the time because the baby knows it needs to grow. So it's the difference between the womb, the first earth, that's what I'm going to call it, is that you're not distracted. You're focused. Your mind is where it is. There are no distractions. There's nothing that's like distracting you and everything. So you're so focused on your goal, which is to grow into a baby. So you come to this earth. Unfortunately, you see, the womb is small. Okay, if you compare it to the earth, it's small. It's quite small, but it's very big. By the time you get to like 36 weeks, a woman knows a man. That's when you know life can actually change. The womb does not change only the baby from just basic cells into a baby. It actually changes the woman, because the woman now knows by the time you're getting to like 36 weeks, you cannot even turn. Like, you need someone to help you turn. You see the changes in your body. You gain weight, you get stretch marks, you fatigued, you're hormonal, you're craving things that on a normal day you would not even understand. Like, what are all these? Even for the man, the womb has a role. A man has always been carrying his pumps in his body, but he never knew that these pumps can actually become a baby. Now, when he actually gets to see the womb and live with this woman, okay, on a normal day, we say the man is the head of the house. But for 9 months, the man is not usually the head of the house. It's all about this woman. It's all about her, excuse me. It's all about her cravings. It's all about her needs. It's all about what she wants. And a man learns to be now in the submissive state where he has to listen to her because he wants some kind of peace. And peace is rare. So when the baby comes, he appreciates this woman because he says, wow, what a hassle. Even the life of the woman changes. The life of the baby definitely changes from being a zygote, from just being zygote to now being a baby. And the life of the woman changes because she sees, my God, I can actually deliver, I can actually bring forth something like this. Then from that point, your whole approach to life, your whole approach to so many things changes. You now know that this little baby needs you. But unfortunately, the truth be said, the babies, we as mothers hold them into our arms for such a short time, but the earth, the world, is what holds them for most of the time. So the common feature here is the brain. So we've talked about the earth, the first earth, the womb, and we've talked about the earth that we're living in today. But what conquers the womb is the brain, because the brain signals the body to grow, to develop, to become a baby. And now, initially, the womb, the amniotic fluid is more than the baby. We can say the amniotic fluid is 70%, and the baby is 30% of the womb. That is just basically like what we are in the world. We are like our human body, 70% water and 30% solid matter. At the same time, the earth is covered by 70% water. Like, there is no, these are not coincidences. To some extent, they actually they make perfect sense. There's something that we need to look at in all these three things and understand. So the brain signals the body in the womb to grow. And when it grows and becomes more than the water, it kind of conquers the first earth. So the water pushes the baby out, like it breaks and the baby follows out. So what has won the war in the womb is the brain, because of its focusedness, its lack of distraction, and its ability to do what it's supposed to do. When we come to this earth, we are distracted by many other things and we forget. But at the end of the day, the thing that can actually help conquer the world is your brain. How your thoughts flow, how you think about the world, how you want to work in the world, your commitment, especially your commitment. Commitment means focusing on a goal when you're not distracted, and taking total responsibility. When you fail, you go back, reassess, and focus again. So you know what the brain does in these other big earth, where you cannot quite like, where it's full of so many things. The brain knows that if you conquer the womb, you will conquer the world. And when you conquer the world by listening to your brain, paying more time, feeding your brain, taking that omega, feeding it with motivation, feeding it with positive thoughts, feeding it with things that can help it grow, feeding it with self care, feeding it with meditation, feeding your brain, feeding your mind, not thinking, not paying too much attention on what people have to say. Because you know, the thing is, whether you're doing the right thing, whether you're doing the wrong thing, people will talk. But if you focus more on self improvement, on self growth, you have less time to actually criticize others. You have less time to actually care about what other people say. Because what happens is, if you're not focusing on developing yourself, and you've let yourself be beat and feel down about life and everything, you're not going to focus on criticizing others in a bid of trying to make yourself feel better. That's the basic definition of a bully. A bully on most days has his or her own issues, but because they do not want to spend time thinking about these issues and trying to find remedies for their own issues, they've tried to bring out the issues in other people in attempt to make themselves feel better. So your brain will help you conquer the world if you focus on what it has to say to you, on the thoughts, on the ideas that it brings to you. If you focus on what the mind has for you, it is what will help you now take your place in the earth, which is now the where we're living in. It is going to help you get your proper place in the earth. So that's the secret of the womb. In the womb, the brain won. It won the first earth. And in the world, your brain, your thoughts, your mind will win if you listen to it, if you pay attention to it. So the thing is, when we say about 70% water, 70% of water being what makes the earth, and 70% of water making the human body, and 70% of water when a baby is developing in the womb, what is the role of water? Water is associated with motion, and motion is emotion, and emotion is, when you think of water like in an ocean, water in motion brings about waves, and these waves, they are different, they come with different strengths. This is the same thing that happens in our lives. We get emotions, and these emotions come or bring about, they come with different strengths, and these, they always shape us, okay, but the magnitude depends on the strength of the waves of our lives. The waves of our lives are the emotions, and the emotions push us, and emotions are not supposed to be such a factor in our lives. Emotions are what give us the ability to be human. They bring about the gentleness in us, but they are not supposed to be so much relevant to our lives, because at the end of the day, an emotion comes and it goes, just like the waves of the water come and they go. And even in the womb, the water has the motion. It swings the baby plays in the water, and eventually the water the baby is pushed out by the water. Like, that pressure is what helps the baby come out. When the water breaks, it also comes with the baby. Like, it's a whole affair. Like, everything pours out like if you've been pregnant and your water breaks, it's like a bath. That's what happens. So water in life is very important. Water is, when a baby is born, mothers are always told to focus on the diaper changes, like wet diapers. Not even mainly the poop, it's the wet, the how many wet diapers you get to make sure the baby is not dehydrated. When you grow up, you're always told to take enough water. Why are you taking enough water? You're taking enough water to make sure that your whole body, the toxins are washed out. In the womb, water actually washes out the toxins, because the umbilical cord will bring in water, you bring in the supplies, the nutrients, and take oxygen and carbon dioxide. The baby breathes through the umbilical cord, gets the nutrients through the umbilical cord. But when the baby eats and everything, it poops, and it poops in the water, and the water takes the amniotic fluid, takes that out. Water washes things out. When you're having a bad day, you've had a long day, you're told take a shower. When you take a shower, it washes out the external toxins. Like, you've been outside, or you may sweat, and you're just tired, it takes out, it cools, and it takes out all that. When you drink water, it takes out the toxins inside. So water has a major role. When you sit by a body of water and watch the motion of the waves and listen to the water and just even observe the water, it has a cooling effect. That's why water is 70%, and that's why water and the brain are super connected. When you have a headache, you're told to take water. It actually heals your headache, because most of the times when you have a headache, it's the brain telling the body that there's something not right. And if it's mainly because you've not taken water, enough water, you're dehydrated, so it's telling you drink water. When you drink water, you feel much better. So water and the brain are bound together. But at the same time, the water of your life are your emotions as a human being. You need to know that things will come, they'll flow. That's the flow. Water, when you look at water, you just think about the motion of water. It flows, it's constantly flowing. Things will come, they'll flow into your life, they'll flow out of your life. But what remains is the fact that you have your brain and you have conquered this small brain, this small, okay, the head. It also has an axis. If you look at it like from a spherical point, the earth rotates on its own axis. Even your brain has an axis. Like you can do this, eh? This you would say your neck is your axis. So, what am I saying? That is the secret of the womb. If you won the battle in your mother's womb and became the person you are today, you will also win the battle of this life. If you feed your brain, if you focus on your self growth, on your self improvement, and less on what the world has to say, you'll also win that war and you will take your place in the earth. This is Elysian the Great. And comment, like, subscribe, and share. Till next time, adios, amigo. Bye bye.